Go ahead and call this Norwood City Council meeting to order. If everyone can please rise for a moment of reflection in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen.
Here.
Mrs. Hoover.
Here.
Mr. Province.
Here.
Mrs. Bowling.
Here.
Mr. Moore.
Here.
Mr. Gurton.
Here.
Ms. Sullivan.
Here.
We have all members present this evening. We do have several amendments to the agenda. We are removing understanding committee reports, law and ordinance, and engagement, communication, and outreach. We are removing communication 2 regarding executive session. We are adding communication, well, this will become communication 2, and that is a letter from the Planning Commission, their amended letter. And that is it. Mrs. Franzen.
I'll make a motion that we amend the agenda as stated.
Mr. Gurton.
I'll second her motion.
Seconded by Mr. Gurton. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen.
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover.
Yes.
Mr. Province.
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Gurton.
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan.
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Next item on the agenda, minutes of the previous meeting. Those are from February 10th, 2026. Mr. Gurton.
Make a motion to approve and file the minutes as if read.
Miss Sullivan.
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. Sullivan. Any discussion? Motion on the floor by Mr. Gurton, seconded by Ms. Sullivan, is to approve the minutes as if read. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen.
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover.
Yes.
Mr. Province.
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Gurton.
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan.
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Next on the agenda, we have requests to address council. And we do have 5 of those this evening. The first is that Maurice Scholes? Sorry.
Maurice, first name. How you doing, sir?
Good, how are you? You want to state your name and address, and you'll have 5 minutes to address council.
My name is Maurice Shows. I live at 5232 Carthage Avenue, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45212. And should I go ahead?
Yep.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I wanted to talk about the parking situation on Carthage Avenue. There's a gentleman that owns an auto body shop over there on Carthage, in between Feldman and the elementary school. Houses. He parks cars in front of my house mainly. And I talked to the police department and they tell me, well, he has 72 hours to move his cars. Well, if they mark the tire, he just reparks. He rolls it 3 feet and reparks it. Now, there's a car that's been sitting in front of my house. It sat there for a month. He got a ticket. He moved to the side of my house. It sat there for 3 weeks. He got another ticket. And from that point on, he just rolled it 3 feet, reparked it, rolled it back to where it was, reparked it. And like I said, I'm not the only one that's complaining over there, but there are other members on that street that have called the police department, and they tell them the same thing. You know, we all know about him and we know what he does. And I'm pretty sure any of you that live in Norwood, if you wouldn't want a car parked in front of your house and left there for a month and not being moved. And I'm not trying to hurt the gentleman's business. I just want some to be respected as a citizen of Norwood. You know, I purchased that home. Most of the people that live on that street, that live between Feldman and the elementary school, they rent. And not of those people don't have driveways or garages. So there's cars been sitting on that street, I know, for the last 6 years that have been removed and reparked. I just wanted to ask the council, could they revisit the issue on the parking the cars that he repairs or buys or whatever he does. I know he worked on a couple of my family members' cars, you know, and they told me the same thing. Well, if you don't have the money at the time to pay for it, he keeps the car until you do pay for it, and it's parked on the street. And I just wanted to know, see if there's anything that can be, that you can modify the ruling about of his abuse of some of the parking spaces on the street.
Mr. Moore.
Thank you. So is this, if you're at Feldman and Carthage and you walk towards the elementary school, this is on the right there?
He's on the right-hand side of the street.
Okay.
Yeah, on the right-hand side.
Thank you.
Mrs. Franzen.
Yeah, and just so you know, typically, we just let you speak, and then we will talk about it later on in the meeting. So
Okay.
please do not take our lack of
Okay, all right.
a response as we don't
Right.
care. It's just because we want to respect your time.
Right.
We want to make sure you get to say it. We don't want to interject too much.
Okay.
But yes, but thank you.
But thank you for hearing
Yeah,
me.
yes.
Thank you. Our next request to address council is Darius Tweedy.
My name is Darius Tweedy. Stay at 3637 Wabash Avenue. I stand before you tonight, not in anger, but in resolve, not in frustration, but in faith. Not only for myself, but for every small business owner and every family who has the odds were stacked against them. For the public record, I understand the council has limits. I understand not every issue can be fixed from this podium, but what government cannot do alone, the people can do together. History shows us something simple. Real change should not start from the top. It starts from the citizens who decides that better is possible. A movement does not begin when it's convenient. It begins when it's necessary, and when your back is against the wall. When a system feels bigger and more powerful, that is not time to retreat. That is the time to rise. Yes, there are institutions with more money. Yes, there are forces with more influence, but no corporation is stronger than a united community. Tonight, it's not just about policy, it's about principle, and it's about whether fairness applies equally. It's about whether opportunity is real. I speak not only to the council, but to Norwood, to the families watching, to the entrepreneurs building something from nothing. Hear this clearly. A movement cannot start with one voice, and when people unite for what is right, change does not wait for permission, it moves. So let this be a moment Norwood chooses courage over comfort, unity over silence, fairness over fear, because when people rise, power listens. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next request to address council is Ramon Tweedy.
Good evening, council. My name is Ramon Tweedy, 2750 Park. I know council power is limited, but I just wanted to say thank you to all the people from last council that reached out to me, emails, messages, phone calls. I really appreciate all the people that reached out, and God will be done. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next request to address council is Bishop Sonny James.
Bishop Sonny James, 4305 Ashland Avenue, Norwood, Ohio. I stand before you acknowledging that there are many people who are mourning, even still to this day. One of the most recognizable icons for civil rights and the justice of the common people has gone on, Reverend Jesse Jackson. I remember the days in the basement of Mayelco Scott, hearing civil rights leaders down in her basement crying. And I remember hearing the voice of one in particular saying, we have to stand up and we have to fight for the rights of those who don't often feel like they can fight for themselves. That jumped and leaped into the pit of my soul that night, and even as a young man, it never left me even to this day. I stand before my peers and all of those watching. This is very troubling to me to finally have to stand and say that there's a sad day a-coming. Many of us know that there have been many, many efforts to reconcile differences. Many of you know, maybe not those of you who are new to council, but there have been many, many pleas for us as a people to come together. In fact, I've had many, many meetings across the city and the state with a lot of leaders, which for me, many of you should know, it's never about politics, it's about people. Gathering folks together who just truly have a heart to see change. And we are now on the brink of massive change coming to our great city. Change coming because it is a necessity. Change coming because even the other day in court, you know, when people pose issues and we find a way to allow our politics to not do the things that other municipalities find their responsibility to do. I want it to be said for the record, I love my community. I have my family in this community. But I also stand for the people and for the rights of the people. And I do so unapologetically. And just the other day in court, I said to Your Honor, I want no problems for anybody. In fact, Your Honor, all I'm asking is for my bad, and I'm sorry. And this is on record, one of our Norwood police officers were there. But you see, when people stand and continue to show arrogance, like when somebody just says, please just come together, and people don't prioritize that to just make a phone call. I want to appreciate John Moore for doing just the opposite and reaching out. Change is coming to Norwood, Ohio. And it's not going to come because people are going to ask you what you think, or what you feel, or what you know. Change is going to come because it's right. And all I've asked for, come together and allow the residents of Norwood to feel heard. Whether we agree on everything or not, just come together. But it looks like the arrogance has come and exceeded. I want to be humble and acknowledge that I became aware that certain folks thought that Bishop James does not prioritize women. Let me tell you something. My wife is a woman, and my daughter, who one day may run for Congress, are females. And I teach, secure the women and children even over your dead body. And that's what I stand for. And I applaud all the women that serve this community. I pray that you all will actually pick up the phone right away and call just to come together. Because now those that have been hurt and marginalized, we have to stand that justice is served. God bless. Norwood.
Thank you. Our final request to address council is Glenda A. Smith.
Good evening. Again, my name is Glenda A. Smith. I thank you for the opportunity to address your community and to inform them that I am running for Hamilton County Court of Common Pleas Judge, General Division. The General Division is unlike probate court. It's unlike domestic court. It's unlike juvenile court in that it hears a broader array of cases, subjects, and many of which are complex. It can hear civil rights cases. Now, my candidacy is driven by my desire to foster safe communities by upholding justice, fairness, and civil rights. I have worked in the field of civil rights representing clients for many years in the General Division, in the federal courts predominantly, because the General Division doesn't typically want to hear those cases. And I've worked all the way up to the United States Supreme Court. So I'm licensed to practice there, or permitted to practice there. And I do draft appeals. I draft very complex pleadings. In this race, experience equals justice. I've had a case recently, actually still pending in the General Division for 3 years. I took it all the way up to the Court of Appeals. The Court of Appeals told the trial court what to do, and it's still not done 8 months later. This is what happens when we do not have persons or judges that have experience. I would like to say that I'm asking the community to go to ActiVote or some other source to look at who the judicial candidates are and what their criteria is, what experience do they have. If they tell you they're an administrator, that means they're not qualified to be a judge. Because they're pushing paper, they're not out there representing clients in that courtroom or in any courtroom. So again, it's just very important that we as a community understand who our candidates are and what experience they have for a particular position. So I'm asking, I have one ask tonight, well, maybe two. One, that you vote for me. And the second one, I'm looking for volunteers for my campaign. Always looking for volunteers. I think every campaign is. Again, I appreciate your time. My name is Glenda A. Smith. You can go to glendaforjudge.org to get additional information and to reach out to me. There's a contact card on there, and it directly comes to the campaign. And I'll definitely get back with you. And you can call me. I answer my phone 8 to 5. So have a blessed evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have special presentations. We have one this evening, and that is Chief Tom McCabe with the Norwood Fire Department.
Good evening. I'm trying to think of which one would be best to look at, probably over here. And thank you. It's an honor to be here to kind of just give you the highlights of what our year looked like from 2025. See here. All right. So this is the composite we did in 2024. It largely remains unchanged. Our two members that have left the department, one by resignation, one by retirement, and then we've added 3 more, which you were part of, or some of the council people were part of last year. So we're currently fully staffed at 53 total positions. That's 3 platoons, basically of 16 each, who work 24 hours on. They're all 48. Those members working an average 48-hour work week. And then we have a daily shift minimum of 13 per shift. Administrative team consists of myself, Assistant Chief Cianciolo, Staff Captain Giles, and we have 2 fire inspectors, a bureau clerk who works hand in hand with them, and an executive secretary who works with Assistant Chief and myself. We all work a 40-hour work week. Org chart, basically, I'm the top. Assistant Chief is right below me, and then the shifts report directly to him, as does the staff captain and our 2 specialists who are the fire investigators. So this is where this one hits home to me. We look at our staffing model, or our number of experience, basically, and you look at the 1 to 5 and 6 to 10. I pretty much was the chief when these members were hired, and that's a young group. The 20 plus, we've got 19. 10 of those people could walk out the door tomorrow and retire. They're in the drop. In a year or 2, all 19 will be in that position. So luckily, we only have really one scheduled retirement this year. Our next really wave of retirements will happen in about 3 years. So from a planning perspective, we're in good shape. So go into our 2025 incident info. Our fire numbers were down, except we had a catastrophic loss on Floral, unfortunately. Not only from a monetary standpoint, from a historical and a piece of history for our city. Architecturally, that was a tough one. So these are the typical questions we get asked about our fire department responses. What's our average response time? Well, in 2025, we actually decreased it by 3 seconds. 3 minutes, 14 seconds. You'll be hard pressed to find a better response in this county from a fire department or EMS agency. What's our most common run type? For us, it's definitely EMS. We staff 2 ambulances and 2 paramedic engine companies, specifically because of that. About 75% of our runs are EMS. You'll see about 70% of those are what we call BLS, and then 30% are the true advanced life support where paramedics are needed. And this is the one for us that really hit home this year. So how often do we have calls that actually overlap? Generally speaking, the 6 years I've been fire chief, it's been somewhere between 29 to 34%, 50% this year. There's no rhyme or reason for it, but the climb has been inordinate. Safety director and I talk about it, and it's not just us. City of Sharonville had a similar increase in their number of concurrent responses. A number of departments have seen an uptick in what that looks like. For us, that's why we have redundancies built in. We know this happens, and we're in good shape. But even when we have those and we have everything out on runs, and we have another run come in, which does happen, it's like mutual aid. We can rely on some mutual aid, hopefully. Luckily for us, we received it more than we gave it. So that's always helpful. It speaks to the run volume that we have. But you think that's really, when we have almost 4,500 runs in a year, that's pretty small. Busiest time of day of calls. This has not changed in my 26 years of working at the fire department. It is lunchtime in Norwood. I don't know why. It is absolutely between 11 and 1. It is our busiest. Now, we say that with a grin because you look at our run volume from about 6 a.m. and it gradually climbs to 11, and we peaked at 11 to 1, and it slowly goes down. And it's really kind of a flat curve. But, we know from about 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. it's really our slowest time, and that has generally been the case. Busier day? Not really. Our run volume is pretty consistent across the board. We like to look at it and say, are we getting more runs on a Friday or a Sunday? And really, they're about equal. total fire loss in dollars. Like I said, we had a catastrophic loss with that house on Floral, but we really talking dollars saved. And our fire volume's down this year. We have not had the volume we saw a couple years ago, but we've about 1.95 million in saved assets. We'll talk about the number of structured fires we actually responded to, but of those, how many were significant and what we were able to save with that response time. We were very lucky that fires do not get out of control in this town. So total 44,369 dispatched incidents. These are the emergency responses your fire department makes on a regular basis. Doesn't include the day-to-day routine, the fire inspections, the adoption inspections, the guys out doing red tag removals. These are dispatched incidents that occur. And so for us, we track that really in how many responses are our vehicles making on these incidents. As you see, obviously the medic units are the busiest, our engines are up there, but that really translates into about almost 7,000 vehicle responses for the city. And those are emergency responses. So that's a lot of risk with the sirens and lights going down the road. You know, we are out there a lot. You guys hear us a lot when you're here in council chambers, I'm sure. So the map there, it's a heat map of all of our fire responses. And when I say fire, those are like fire alarm drops. Those are true fires, but it kind of gives you a really general peek of where we go. And it's all over the city. We don't really have an area which is super high intense in terms of run volume. You see the reds, that just means we've been there a few more times than the greens. But for fires, actual fire incidents that we report to the United States Fire Administration, 74 actual incidences of fire in the community. So we had 43 structure fires, 32 were residential, 11 were industrial, 11 vehicle fires, and 30 outside fires, which is a dumpster fire, a mulch fire, whatever. But for us, the big number was what we call significant fires. A significant fire to the fire department is something where a resident's going to lose use of their building, or they're going to be significantly out for a number of days. And we only had really 10 of those in Norwood last year. But people always ask, what's the fire department do? You know, well, we do more than fight fire and make EMS runs. That's just a really short list of the things that these guys accomplish on a daily basis. And it's a number of things that we have really skilled employees that have really honed their craft. We're lucky to have the people we do. So we talk about our fire inspection bureau with 2 full-time fire inspectors that do the lion's share of inspections. Our fire companies, though, the guys on ship do go out and do some fire inspections as well, but by and large, the majority of the fire prevention efforts are done by Inspector Jones and Inspector Smith. Almost 1,900 code enforcement activities last year. That's a significant amount of work. So 275 permanent inspections. So permanent inspections, anything that's required by the state of Ohio that we actually charge a fee for. It's ancillary money, it's not a lot, but it is something that we require. Places like Siemens or Inomatics now, Shepherd, right? They're required to have a number of things that are permitted, and we go and make sure they're done, they're signed off on. We also do non-permanent inspections. So it'd be like going to Claire's over at Rookwood, all the businesses there, mercantile inspections done every year. Every mercantile occupancy in the city of Norwood gets a fire inspection each year. 110 multifamily residential inspections completed. Those are basically, the fire department does 7 family and above. We do have a number of 3 and 4 family buildings, but those are almost identical. We've identified the most risky buildings to us in terms of the number of units, and we do those, actually fire companies do those on an annual basis. We also do college rental home inspections. A little bit down, we have some landlords that are not being as cooperative with the fire department in terms of letting us in. They're more worried about their rental total than fire safety, I say, but by and large, the majority of the people are very helpful in getting us in. And I said they do numerous re-inspections, adoption inspections, pre-construction meetings. We've had a lot of those lately. And then referrals that come in from the guys when they make fire runs to areas that say, hey, there's a fire code violation. Those inspectors go out and fill and do that. So we really only investigated 12 actual fire incidents in Norwood, and that was really because they were suspicious in nature. And then Inspector Smith is part of the Hamilton County Task Force of Fire Investigation Unit, so he does participate in that. So successes. When we talk about successes, this is really a combination of planning, cooperation with fire administration, city administration in terms of planning, but also investment from council. These are the things that we've come to you and say, hey, these are really important. We've made the plan. These are the things that we need to do to provide the services we do. Number one last year was replacement of all of our self-contained breathing apparatus. These are the very things that keep the guys safe when they're in a fire environment. Lung protection, we were very, very good at protecting our lungs. You know, the days of the firemen smoking cigarettes is long gone. You actually see a lower incidence of lung cancer in firemen now because of respiratory protection programs that we have in place. And Norwood Fire Department has one of the best respiratory protection programs. We actually do it all in-house. It's keyed up by Lieutenant Donovan. And one of the other successes we had this year was we used to have 4 technicians. We have 7 now. These guys went above and beyond outside of normal job scope and received training this year. They are able to not only maintain, test, but even repair our SCBAs. Luckily, they're under warranty, so they shouldn't have a lot of work this year. However, they're required to be tested annually. Each member has their own face piece, which is a required test each year. Each member has a respirator, which is a required test each year. And we actually test for N95 respirator masks. We have to test those by federal code. This is all done in-house. It's a significant savings to the city by doing it in-house. It's a requirement that we have to do it. But luckily, this has been a program we've had in-house for almost 2 decades now. The ambulance that we actually ordered in 22 was finally delivered in 2025. It's hard to believe that the turnaround time on these orders is so long on fire apparatus and ambulances. But that leads us to, we've actually ordered another one for delivery in 2028 in last year. So, you know, this is a capital investment planning that we talk about in terms of being on top of it, making sure we have a sound replacement fleet plan, and it's kudos to the investment made in the department. And then we had a 2010 fire inspector's vehicle, which was replaced finally last year. This is a significant picture because this is the first time in the history of the fire department that all staff and support vehicles were purpose-built and bought new for the fire department. It's over 100 years of apparatus and vehicle purchase. This is the first time in history. So it's enormous. It helps the guys do their job better. It allows us to get in and out without having to worry about ridiculous maintenance costs on beg and borrow for parts on vehicles that are, not even on the road. You hardly see them. So huge win for the fire department and for the city. And then we upgraded our entire EMS durable goods piece. We had a lot of cardiac monitors that were out of date. USDA requires really an 8-year replacement plan. We were a little past that, but we do a good job of maintaining our stuff. We really aggressively pursued a lease program which flatlined our durable goods costs. It allows better capital planning. We have a known item for 10 years that also takes into account service. It also takes into account replacement batteries. The technology, the things are so, these are unbelievable computers. The cardiac monitor themselves, unbelievable computer power, and the technology is amazing. But we're in a great place because if it doesn't work, we have a replacement right in hand. We don't have to carry spares of these things. This program is an amazing win for us, and it also helps from a planning perspective. Huge win with this, for sure. All the cardiac monitors, all the Lucas devices, which is an automatic CPR device, all the cots and the power load systems in the ambulances were all replaced last year. And then this is an amazing piece. A special shout out to the safety director and the law department for helping us craft this agreement. Millipore is an amazing corporate citizen in this town. We have kind of brokered a training agreement with not only Millipore and Shepherd in terms of our hazmat response training, but we talked with Millipore about this area they have, and we've had some portable training devices come down. We've done it there. We asked, hey, would you guys be opposed to us actually building a temporary training center where we can actually do training? City administration and mayor was very helpful in putting it into the capital plan. We were able to get a key agreement done where we're able to do that there. That's enormous. So for us to actually be able to train on duty, significant savings, really allows us better preparation, especially for those younger crowd, that slide you saw. Changes for us, we had a 2000 fire truck that was run first line for a long time. Typically, we see these things run frontline for 16 years and they're back in reserve. This truck ran frontline for almost 22 years. It had metal fatigue. It's tired. And 25 years really ended up being maximum for running. I pulled it out of service at the end of December because of some age. We've got some mechanical issues with it too that were really worth investing in. Wheeled coach was retired, but ambulance was replaced. Firefighter Padre retired after serving 25 years. And we hired 3 new firefighters. Go through this real quick. 2026, we got to replace the slider truck. That was a 2-year special purchase that we've had for almost 5 years now. Radio replacements, this is where planning comes in. We know this is coming. These are not part supported. We've done a really good job of maintaining them, but the year is to replace them now. Captain Britt Cardwell is going to retire this year. Longest tenured employee in the city currently right now. Served 36 years with the fire department. Massive loss for the fire department when he retires. Significant impact over his career in terms of what we are today. It's going to be an enormous loss for us. But we've already had the captain's test. First time in my history and in my experience with the fire department, we actually have his replacement done. The lieutenant's test is scheduled right now. And then we have a replacement hire offer ready to go. Any questions?
Mrs. Franzen.
Yeah, so that training facility, will that be something that other fire departments would potentially use as well?
Certainly. One of the things we really worked with Millipore was, what's that look like? Because it's their grounds and what we have to do that. But from a regional response perspective, it's really important for us to be able to train with our partners, whether it be Cincinnati or with Deer Park Silverton, because we do some regional collaboration. We do have model policies within the county that we all have adopted in terms of, hey, this is how we operate. So being able to put that in play in a practice environment is so important. So it's huge. It's huge for us.
Mrs. Hoover.
I'm questioning the longevity that you've had with staff and the skew towards young with this big population that's coming up on retirement. Is that similar to other cities or is that specific to Norwood?
That was pretty specific to Norwood. Cities have these laws in hiring. For us specifically, we had a 7-year lull where we didn't hire. And so we've got this giant area where it's going to, you'll start seeing that kind of transfer over. The biggest piece for us, luckily we know that of those 19, they're in that last phase of their career, including me.
No.
We have some time, right? We've got a group of guys who have 3 years and they're going to retire. There's another group behind them are about 5 years, and then a group of 8. So you won't see all of them, but the reality is their pension is set. They could walk out the door tomorrow. From a planning perspective, for us, we know that typically doesn't happen. We've got a really high retention rate anyways. For every 10 employees we hire, 9 stay their entire career. So it's a really important piece for us, and we actively plan. Like, we know who's coming and going. We engage HR on a regular basis, let them know, hey, we need this test coming up so they can get with civil service or the safety director as the appointing authority. I think we do a pretty good job in terms of communicating what our needs are and prepare for it. So, obviously you never know if someone decides that they walk in the firehouse one day, hey, it's my last day, I'm done. But the guys are pretty thoughtful in terms of what that looks like. They don't want to leave the city or the department high and dry.
Mrs. Hoover.
I just sort of an anecdote. I was there having lunch a while ago, great BLT, and I think that there were 3 calls during that lunch where everyone was sitting down and then 5 guys got up and ran out the room. 5 minutes later, another 2 people left, and that was Tuesday, and that does happen, and I'm so grateful that we do have the staffing that we have to absorb that. But also, you guys are hopping. You're not bored over there.
Yeah, our run went up 24 runs, right? So that's negligible. But the last 2 years, we kind of saw a slight decrease. So it's the first year we've gone up. The biggest part for us is really the concurrent runs. That was the big surprise for us.
Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. President. May I ask a few questions in succession?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. With regard to the the sort of hourglass-looking, labor force pyramid that you have. Is there any consideration for that with regard to costs? Because I would imagine on one hand that maybe your more longer tenured folks might make more money and sort of their turnover might reduce the average salary of a firefighter, but then maybe there's something to do with new folks having higher, market rates. Could you just talk about, I guess, like kind of the cost component of the turnover that you expect to see the next few years?
The savings is really between years 1 and 4. So the fire department's union contract calls for a graded steps as they come in the door. So really, the guy who's a firefighter 4 at 5 years is getting paid the same as a firefighter 4 who's been there 27. So no difference in terms of that rank structure or pay. Where you see some differences is when you start talking about longevity. Maybe the amount of vacation or holidays they receive. Holidays is the same, but vacation time, that's where you see a little bit, but it's negligible when you look at it from a total cost in terms of personnel costs of the fire department. Really, the savings you see is when you hire them in at year 1 and they're single, no family. Those are the guys we like to hire in because that's significant savings to the city for a few years. But they all get married and have kids. So.
Thank you for that one. You made a reference to yourself being in that upper cohort. Well, first of all, I would just say thank you for all the great work you do, and certainly I hope you'll be around for a while. But I have to imagine that to some degree you've thought about succession planning and things like that within the department. I don't need you to name any names, sure. But if you could just speak to your own personal succession plan.
Sure. So we actively talk about what that looks like. In a civil service environment, it's a little difficult to really have a plan in place. What you try to do is equip those players who have that potential. So for us, if I retire, if I just say, hey, thanks for everyone, I'm out of here after my report's over, what would happen is you'd have an acting chief, it would be the assistant chief. But the people who are eligible to take the examination to be the chief would be, because it has to be competitive, we only have one assistant chief, would be the chief and all the captains who have at least 12 months of service in that rank. And so that becomes a competitive examination. What we try to do is engage those people who we think will be, one, interested in the position, because not everyone who serves in those capacities are necessarily looking to have that 40-hour work week. There is some benefit to that on one day off too. So I think in general, we engage those people. When we start talking about budgetary process, what that looks like, we've been very thoughtful in at least bringing the officer group into the know of what that looks like. For a long time, the city didn't really have line item budgets, and we've really tried to streamline that process, engage them so they understand not only what that looks like on paper, but how to manufacture that and what kind of engagement works with the city and how that process works. And we have probably, right now, if I left today, probably 2 people who are interested in the job. Certainly Assistant Chief Stansfield, who serves in my stead when I'm away, is perfectly equipped. I'm trying to get him to go to a fire executive class, which I was a graduate in 23 of. It's a really important program that helps really, and it can go as the new chief, right? That'd be something I would encourage the city administration to say, hey, you're the chief, you're gonna go to that. Not that you, hey, do you want to? It's a great program put on by the Ohio Fire Chiefs Association. It's a 3-year deal. It's I went after serving as the chief for 2 years, so it was helpful for me just to see some peers, per se, and what their experience is, because statutory city is way different than township and way different than villages and what that looks like. So it's certainly helpful. But I think we're in a good place. We're much better. We're more thoughtful about that process now, but civil service does have its challenges.
Thank you. And then 2 more that might be a little more like public facing. I saw on the list of services provided for the department that like fire prevention is one of them. And so I'm just going to say, if I wanted you to come check out my house and see if I'm adequately fire ready, is that a thing that I could just call the department and schedule?
Absolutely. Call 458-4550. We'll ask for the Fire Prevention Bureau. They will schedule something with either a fire company or depending on your availability, right? A lot of people aren't available during the fire inspector's time there, but if possible, if they're the best to do that, but we'll also send a fire company out and do that as well.
Okay. Thank you. And
Yeah.
last one, Mr. President. With regard to, let's say EMS runs, I know you said it's maybe not particularly predictable outside that 11 to 1 window. I guess I'm wondering, are there certain, let's say, widespread activities, and I'm thinking about like snow shoveling or mowing your grass in the heat of the day in the summer, that residents should be aware of that might make them particularly vulnerable to exhaustion or something of that sort?
Snow shoveling is one where you see the angina or the chest pain occur. That's a lot of exertion under colder temperatures. We don't see enormous spikes in our run volume because people are out shoveling, but that is a widely known phenomenon. Not really.
Okay.
I think the dynamics in this town have changed over the last 15 years in terms of what we see from a response area, the type of runs we make. So I know it wasn't just us; it was this entire region really struggled with the opioid crisis, and the overdoses were rampant to the point where we were running out of Narcan, the antidote to opioids. And not only us, we don't see that very often, but the region doesn't see that very often anymore. So those are the things that we worry about, dealing with a pandemic. That was, nothing like becoming the fire chief and say, hey, we're going to have a global pandemic in the first year. And the mayor was just elected and we were game planning on it. I mean, to the point where I was lining up retirees to come staff the firehouse because we had to have a plan to how we were going to do it. We had no idea what it looked like. But no, the general stuff that we see is just, I don't think you could have a public safety message like they used to do with fire prevention. And we always talk about, I wish they'd have a concerted effort to talk about healthcare in this country like they did for fire prevention, because what we see is overuse of ERs, and that doesn't matter where you're at. That's just all over.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
You guys are easy.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Moving on to reports of standing committees of council. And we do have one of those, and that is finance. Mr. Gordon.
To the Honorable Council of the City of Norwood, Ohio, we, your Committee of Finance, Budget, Audit, and Claims, to whom is referred the Financial Recovery Plan, we beg leave to submit the following report. The committee met to review a draft of the Financial Recovery Plan. Also in attendance were the Auditor, Budget Director, Treasurer, Deputy Treasurer, and the Safety Service Director. We reviewed the historical and projected revenue, expenditures, and unencumbered fund balance from 2023 through 2030. We also discussed proposed increases in personnel and contractual service keys from 2025 to 2026, as well as the capital improvement planning worksheet. Respectfully submitted, Mr. Jeff Gurton, Mrs. Emily Franzen, Mr. Jason Provins, and Mr. John Moore.
Thank you. Mrs. Bowling.
Move that we accept the committee report.
Motion by Mrs. Bowling to accept the committee report. Mrs. Hoover.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Hoover. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Gurton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Moving down the agenda, we have administration reports. Mayor Schneider.
Thank you. Brief. People are familiar with the project that went on the Norwood lateral with the road work, and they were working over. The question that came to our office mostly was, what are they doing on it? And they were replacing some bridge related beams and making some changes down on that end of the lateral. A question was brought to me, okay, while the lateral's down, can we get it down there and clean up all the litter that's there and all the trash that's came up? Well, it wasn't our end of it, but there is plans, and there are plans being formulated to do some of that type stuff to get our end of the lateral cleaned up. I know the whole Norwood lateral, everybody thinks that's all Norwood, but we have a certain portion of it. So traffic and road conditions, yes, with the freeze and thaw and the age of our roads, they open up. The Public Works Department is working on getting things closed up, but if you want to be helpful to them and even get some of those potholes that are nagging you fixed even quicker, go to see, click, fix.
right? See a pothole, you click on the button on the app, see click fix, and put in the location of that pothole, and that brings it to their attention. They are working, and they'll continue to work, but they work a certain process. If there's a big pothole or big area that needs to be fixed, report it to them. Right now, they've completed over 5,112 different requests for service through that. So if you don't have it on your phone, please put it on your phone and please utilize it. It's got an interactive map. It's nice. It gives them the exact location. It gives them information they need to do it. Public safety, the chief's presentation, there was a picture up there of the fire department guys in the police training center. And you might recall that, a few years ago, the police training center was sort of mothballed and we weren't doing anything with it. And then we recognized pretty quickly, after a few quick incidents, we recognized we've got to train our police. And we did de-escalation. We've done a lot of different training in that police training center. But it's good to see the firehouse or the fire department using it also. And all of you recognize that when you work at a company and you go into the training area and you're at work and you're doing training, it's hard to really concentrate at times. So having other sites for the fire department, for those guys to leave the firehouse and go over there for training is good. It's a different atmosphere, and it's nice for the city to have those opportunities for that property to be used that way. The community meetings and civic engagement stuff going on. The Gem of the Community celebration is February 26th. I think there's a couple of council members that have been recognized many times for that. The great event. It's at the Ventura, and I think if you haven't RSVP'd by now, you probably should have, but it is put on by the Norwood Together group at the Ventura, and it recognizes about 20 different organizations or people that are making a difference in our community yearly, and I really commend them for doing that work each year. Let's see, a couple other things I had. Well, that's probably enough for this meeting, so unless there's questions.
Questions for Mayor Schneider? Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Mayor, I guess I was just, I've heard some different things about the Speedway right there next to Victory Park. I don't know if there's any publicly available update about that.
Yes.
Mayor Schneider.
Speedway's closed. That's really the biggest update, is that it's closed. You can see that the front windows are closed off. They kept it operational as just a sort of a convenience store for a short period of time, but their pumps and everything are turned off. My understanding is that the zoning for that is, for Montgomery Road, is that there's not allowed to be gas pumps like that in that area. So that they might have lost that grandfathering in, and we'll see what happens to that building and what goes in there. So that's the only update I have.
Any other questions for Mayor Schneider? All right, Mr. Bonzo.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I had the pleasure on Friday to take off from my normal job and come into the office and learn from almost start to finish. It takes longer than a day to do, but the bank reconciliation process. And it was it's very enlightening because I didn't know the full thing from start to finish. Like, I knew some of the concepts of it and stuff, but just seeing it done and seeing the amount of transactions that have to get cleared, and not all of them are actually like bank transactions. Some of these are behind the books transactions that we still audit and clear and make sure that everything still balances. So it's very fascinating. I did get to give a few advanced Excel. I love Excel, so I got to give a few Excel. Like, hey, try this Excel formula, and I think I probably saved them like a half hour, for the next time they do it. But it was, I learned a lot more than I taught for sure in that. So very cool. Our city staff, as you all know, I mean, there's so many specialized tasks that they do that the mayor and I, we wouldn't exactly know how to do. And it's really, it's great to learn. We do need to document those things better, but I think all departments would probably agree to that. But we're working on it. But yeah, it was very nice. The other thing I'd say is just that, from an employer standpoint, PLK Communities is moving their global headquarters, to Norwood. So they have started moving in as of this week. So you might start seeing more there. I won't have any numbers to give you or anything, but just note that more employees in the city. Unless there's any questions, that's all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Bonzo? All right. Mrs. Hoover.
Sorry, I lied. I did have one. Have we gotten the next month's cannabis tax?
Mr. Bonzo.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have not heard, but I'll check and get back with you, Councilmember.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Bonzo? All right, Mr. Miracle.
Thank you, Mr. President. Prior to the meeting, I printed out a sheet and gave it to everyone. I'd like you to look at that sheet for me real quick if you have time. As we are continuing to work on our policies and procedures and document our processes, there are things that come to light. And what I'd like to share with you is a win that Dr. Cambisi has discovered. If you'll look there, this was a screenshot of the Bureau of Workers' Compensation. And you'll see the date submitted. That was this afternoon. And sorry I couldn't make it bigger. But you'll see down there is a net transaction amount. That is a credit of $30,409. So how did we get there? Back at the end of 2022, there were, I guess there was two designations. We have non-clerical and we have clerical. And obviously the non-clerical, those are at a higher rate. That's police, fire, 914. The rest is the clerical. So those had been lumped into one, and we were paying the higher premium. And what Dr. Cambisi was able to do was when we did our true-up, which we just did, she submitted to the Bureau of Workers' Comp a corrected true-up, and we received this credit, $30,409. Now, moving forward, that's what we're going to save each year. Additionally, she is working with them on 2024 and 2023 as well. So I just wanted to share that with you. I think it's very commendable. It's just an exercise we're going through. We're trying to not do things the same, digging deep, and so that's we're pretty pleased about that. And if you see Dr. Cambisi, just as I did, tell her job well done. Also, last week we had our Finance Committee meeting on the 19th. We have submitted the FRP to Auditor State on the 13th. There has been a considerable amount of questions and emails, even yesterday and today as well. And our supervisor from Auditor State has told us that we should have that, or she should be have that complete by next Monday, the 2nd. So that is where we stand right now with that. I'll keep everyone updated with that, and we're as we get questions, we answer them right away and get back to her. So we've had quite a few. So, but I do feel, I just want to say in general, I think this FRP is about as good as it's ever been. I think there's a considerable amount of work that's been going on for quite some time with the transparency and the collaboration of everyone in the city, including council and the finance committee. Thank you for that. So as soon as Monday rolls around, we'll certainly be reaching out and let everyone know where we stand. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Miracle? Mayor Schneider.
I don't really have a question, but I want to really sort of clarify with council members and recognize that the financial emergency we've been in, the fiscal emergency we've been in for years. The whole time I've been mayor, we've been in there. A couple of years prior to me getting on as mayor. But we have, over the last few years, we've put the financial recovery plan together. We've put it in front of council. Council's looked at it multiple times. In years past, it was presented to council early. You had a chance to look at it multiple times. Now it's been presented to the finance committee, and I know you guys have worked a lot on it already. The Financial Planning and Supervision Commission is meeting on March 6th, Friday, March 6th. The goal was to have the plan in front of you guys for acceptance prior to that. in each year, I think every year that we've done this, it has been put in front of council and there's been 3 readings. It's because it's been discussed and worked on so many times. It's been passed in 3 readings. It still has to go to the Financial Planning Commission. And Ken, I apologize for taking some of your time, but I'm considering this part of your report too. So I'll ask you a question at the end, so it'll look like it. But ultimately, I just wanted to give you guys the heads up. There have been times where I, as mayor, have asked for a special council meeting just to review the financial plan, so that, you know, we can move forward with this stuff. So just, I guess, be aware that that's a potential challenge. Wouldn't you agree, Ken?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Miracle, you did not have authority to answer yet.
Oh, my God.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Moore.
Mr. Miracle, so I guess, I think what I heard you say this upcoming Monday, you expect to have it back, or the?
Mr. Miracle.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, the second.
So I guess just minding our P's and Q's. So if you'll have it back on the 2nd, if the meeting's on the 6th, is there a need for a special meeting next week for us to take action, or do we need to, is that better served after the meeting on the 6th?
Mr. Miracle.
Thank you, Mr. President. When we get the information back from her on Monday, I think that's when we'll have a good pulse. And then we could, if everything goes, you know, the stars all align, like I said, then we would maybe have the opportunity to meet on the 5th.
Okay.
The day prior to the Financial Recovery Planning Commission. I think that's what Mayor Schneider was alluding to. That would be wonderful if all that happens. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other questions for Mr. Miracle? All right, Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I suppose everyone on council has noticed that the levy resolutions are back. I would like to say this is not my finest hour. I violated my #1 rule that I tell people and I try to follow, which is if you have a piece of paper that you need someone to approve, don't just read the rules. Actually ask that person, and I didn't do that. But these versions should be right. So this is the 3rd time, and I have run it by the Hamilton County Auditor staff. They have a new relatively new staff. And they are hypersensitive about every I and dot, especially because of the state keeps changing the rules every 6 months. So they are hyper vigilant about everything being exactly right. These should, I hope, they should be, according to the gentleman down there, these are fine. So I hope we can pass them and move on. And beyond that, if there's any questions about something I did right, I'd appreciate it. So.
Any questions for Mr. Moore? All right, thank you. We have no 3rd or 2nd readings of ordinances or resolutions, so we'll move on to introductory readings of ordinances and resolutions. And the first is an ordinance ratifying the bids received and authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract for the reconstruction improvements to South Jefferson Avenue and declaring an emergency. Mrs. Franzen.
I move we suspend the rules and have all 3 readings of this ordinance.
Motion by Mrs. Franzen to suspend the rules and have all 3 readings of the ordinance. Mrs. Hoover.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Hoover. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Probbins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Gurton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Please have all 3 readings of the ordinance.
Ordinance ratifying the bids received and authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract for the reconstruction improvements to South Jefferson Avenue and declaring an emergency. Ordinance ratifying the bids received and authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract for the reconstruction improvements to South Jefferson Avenue and declaring an emergency. Ordinance ratifying the bids received and authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract for the reconstruction improvements to South Jefferson Avenue and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Mrs. Bowling.
I move that we pass the ordinance.
Motion by Mrs. Bowling to pass the ordinance. Mrs. Hoover.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Hoover. Any discussion? Mr. Moore.
Yeah, this might be a question for Mr. Powers, Safety Service Director. Just as a matter of curiosity, what is the, I guess, total lane miles that this project would be considered, if that is a known
Mr.
number?
Powers?
I'll be honest, I don't have that in front of me, so.
Okay.
But this is going from Williams Avenue south, so just the street designated as South Jefferson.
Got it. Okay.
Not the rest of Jefferson.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion? All right, the motion on the floor by Mrs. Bowling, seconded by Mrs. Hoover, is to pass the ordinance. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provence?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Girton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Next item is an ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract with House Trust Bank for the purchase of a 2017 Pierce HT100A ladder fire truck and declaring an emergency. Mr. Girton.
Make a motion to suspend the rules and have all three readings.
Motion by Mr. Girton to suspend the rules and have all three readings of the ordinance. Mrs. Hoover.
A second?
Seconded by Mrs. Hoover. Any discussion? Mr. Girton.
Could we request the chief to come to the podium?
Chief McKay. Mr. Girton.
May I ask a question?
You may.
Chief, I've got the numbers in front of me, but can you just explain to us what kind of savings this represents?
Sure. This is actually a unicorn. These things do not come up for sale. We've been actively planning for the ladder replacement for a number of years, and doing our due diligence, looking at what was most appropriate in terms of purchase. A tractor-drawn aerial is something that's been in the city for 85 years. We went away from it for some reason, but that was determined what was most appropriate, give us the most flexibility over the lifespan of that truck. And what you guys saw in the FRP was actually not 5 years of payments, that's actually 7. So what you saw in terms of what that costs, that's enormous. So this truck is, if we bought brand new, financed over 7 years, you're looking at $2.8 million. This is a $2 million savings, and we're not waiting 4 years to have it. We're going to get it here probably. It's got to come from Anchorage, Alaska, so it goes on a boat from Anchorage to Tacoma, and then it goes across country on. We have to pay a driver to bring it here. But we're thinking 30 days in terms of transport. It's enormous for us. There's been a lot of talk about turning radiuses and the access to the new development over Factory 52 or Robertson South. And while the truck that we have on a perfect turn makes it, and it was within code, this truck, while longer, is actually more nimble. It will glide through those streets. For those of you familiar, Laura Lane with the turnaround, that truck will actually do that without stopping. Just goes and makes a turn. It's quite the truck. So we're lucky. We found this. We actually found one in Louisville, which is much closer, but San Jose had actually gotten in front of us on that one. We've been working on this since October of last year. I appreciate the safety director working with us and trying to navigate the financial recovery piece of this. Is really difficult because, one, it wasn't in the current plan, approved plan. And so getting it built in for at least purchase of a new one, because we need to replace what we have. It doesn't have what we really need to, but being able to maybe capture this one, have significant savings to the citizens, it actually puts us in a better capital planning perspective as well. While we were going to pay for a new engine and that ladder truck concurrently for a couple of years, it's much less. And then down the road, when we go to replace it, we won't be paying for 2 fire apparatus. They'll actually be perfectly placed in between purchases. So the city will actually be set up for greater fiscal flexibility in the future.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Chief. Just out of curiosity, how does this kind of thing come together, like on the back end?
A lot of man hours. It's funny. We've been planning this purchase for probably 24 months, almost 2 years. Not this specific purchase, but what the truck was going to look like. In with that, as You know, we haven't had a tractor-drawn aerial in this city since 1996. So the last employee that actually did that is retiring this year. So it's a large training component, right? And so when we get this thing here, we'll actually have some significant investment in training for employees. And we actually have we'll contract that out. We actually have a group, and that's who helped us find us, actually. It's not brokers, so we're not paying brokers fees. It's a basically, I'll call it peer-to-peer sale. Anchorage has been very generous with us, but we're kind of on that last leg. We need to get this thing done. Now, obviously, it's all dependent on the FRP approval process. This legislation is really put forward to you guys so that it's a debt instrument, right? So the safety director and the mayor will have to, it'll go in front of the commission as well. So once the FRP is approved, this will go side by side with the FRP to the commission to get approved so we can actually execute this. So timing is of the essence, but they've been pretty patient with us, and I think if we have a 1 week hiccup, not a big deal, but it is a timely piece for us for sure.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
The motion on the floor by Mr. Burton, seconded by Mrs. Hoover, is to suspend the rules and have all 3 readings of the ordinance. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Gurton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Please have all 3 readings of the ordinance.
Ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract with Home Trust Bank for the purchase of a 2017 Pierce HT100A ladder fire truck and declaring an emergency. Ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract with Home Trust Bank for the purchase of a 2017 Pierce HT100A ladder fire truck and declaring an emergency. Ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract with Home Trust Bank for the purchase of a 2017 Pierce HT100A ladder fire truck and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Mrs. Bowling.
I move that we pass the ordinance.
Motion by Mrs. Bowling to pass the ordinance. Mrs. Franzen.
A second.
Seconded by Mrs. Franzen. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Gurton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Next item is a resolution declaring the necessity to levy an additional tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for general construction, reconstruction, resurfacing, and repair of streets, roads, and bridges in the city of Norwood, and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and declaring an emergency. Mrs. Franzen.
I move we suspend the rules and have all 3 readings of the resolution.
Motion by Mrs. Franzen to suspend the rules and have all 3 readings of the resolution. Mrs. Bowling.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Bowling. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Gurton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Please have all 3 readings of the resolution.
Resolution declaring the necessity to levy an additional tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for general construction, reconstruction, resurfacing, and repair of streets, roads, and bridges in the city of Norwood, and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and declaring an emergency. Resolution declaring the necessity to levy an additional tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for general construction, reconstruction, resurfacing, and repair of streets, roads, and bridges in the city of Norwood, and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and declaring an emergency. Resolution declaring the necessity to levy an additional tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for general construction, reconstruction, resurfacing, and repair of streets, roads, and bridges in the city of Norwood, and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Mrs. Bowling.
I move that we pass the resolution.
Motion by Mrs. Bowling to pass the resolution. Mrs. Hoover.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Hoover. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerton.
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan.
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Next item is a resolution declaring the necessity to levy a renewal tax for current operating expenses in excess of the 10 mil limitation and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and declaring an emergency. Mrs. Bowling.
I move that we suspend the rules and have all three readings of the resolution.
Motion by Mrs. Bowling to suspend the rules and have all three readings of the resolution. Mr. Gerton.
Second the motion?
Seconded by Mr. Gerton. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provence?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Please have all three readings of the resolution.
Resolution declaring the necessity to levy a renewal tax for current operating expenses in excess of the 10 mil limitation and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and declaring an emergency. Resolution declaring the necessity to levy a renewal tax for current operating expenses in excess of the 10 mil limitation and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and declaring an emergency. Resolution declaring the necessity to levy a renewal tax for current operating expenses in excess of the 10 mil limitation and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Mrs. Hoover.
Make a motion, we pass the resolution?
Motion by Mrs. Hoover to pass the resolution. Mrs. Bowling.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Bowling. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provence?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Moving on the agenda, next item is unfinished business. Mrs. Hoover.
Would you be able to pull up my slides, sir? I can start talking. It's the,
Is it already open?
it's already in the,
But it is not open. Correct.
correct. And I'll just go ahead and start talking. Super excited about the Norwood Sustainability Summit. This is a project I've been doing in conjunction with the Board of Health. We're going to have two events. Council new business. Council business, council slides. I can't see. I seriously can't see that at all.
That one, a couple updates, 24, 26.
This one.
All right. Younger than me.
You're so young.
Yeah, that's the one. Thank you. Youth. Wednesday, March the 4th from 6 to 8, and Saturday, March the 14th from 10 to 12. Right now, it's scheduled to be at the Board of Health, but it looks like we're going to have such a big turnout, we might move it to the community center. So we'll let you know. But we'll be having a special presentation on low waste living by Hamilton County Resource. Queens City Commons will be there to talk about the new community composting hub that's going to be starting this spring. You'll have an opportunity to tour our new mini recycling hub, which will be housed at the Board of Health. And then we'll have some community partners to talk about what they've got going on. Last Mile Food Rescue, that's right here in Norwood. The Norwood Tree Board, as you know, lots of exciting stuff is happening there. Cincinnati Recycling and Reuse Hub, that's who we're partnering with for our mini hub. Norwood Community Gardens, we have two community gardens, one at Williams and one at Emily's Garden, which are two really lovely spaces. And then we'll also be having water test kits to test your lead. Well, you'll be able to sign up to do that. The first 50 to sign up will get a super cool 5-gallon compost bucket, which will have little stickers on them. Really, really excited about this. We have been doing a phenomenal job in Norwood in increasing our diversion, and really we've just started. So hoping we get a lot of folks come out for that. The next has been conversation about getting involved with the community. There is a list here, if you go to the next slide, of Norwood, what?
Oh, I've got it. I'm sorry. Look there. Norwood volunteers. We have, this is a list that I curated. If you have updates or additions or corrections, please let me know. I think it's accurate until it's published, and now people will find a spelling error or what have you. But this is volunteer opportunities from Baby Bear, 4Cs. We have, I can't even think of all the places, but tons and tons of places in Norwood that are actively looking for volunteers. And there are many ways that you can support your community. And that's what I have for unfinished, sir.
All right. Any other unfinished business? Okay, moving on to new business. Any new business? Ms. Solomon.
I do have some new business. So in Ward 4, I am working on getting a newsletter out to improve communication and accessibility. So that is the website there to our Substack. And if you have any feedback or you're looking to get involved with helping us write the newsletter, please reach out to me. I will make my contact information available.
Thank you. Any other new business? Mrs. Huber.
I want to share that the Norwood Board of Health is doing a blood drive Tuesday, March the 24th from 12 to 2. Would love for folks to sign up. I know last time we had a blood drive in Norwood, I did try getting the fire department and police department to have a draw off, and it didn't stick. So maybe, of course, Chief has already left. I'll have to get him on that later. But would love for folks to consider donating for that event. It's a cool T-shirt you get right now. And then we finally have on the calendar a date for the ribbon cutting for the marker in Marsh Park. The marker is already up. But we'll be having an official ribbon cutting on April the 18th. This will have representatives from the State Ohio Historical Society, as well as the Norwood Historical Society, and the many people who've been involved. There'll be more information coming, but April the 18th. That's all I have, sir. Thank you.
All right. Any other new business? Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think I'd just like to share some thoughts as it pertains to the last meeting that we had, and really, I guess, just kind of the 1 year mark for my time on council since being appointed at the end of February last year. It was actually Chief McCabe who spoke at that same meeting, so it feels very full circle here tonight. I think, I guess I just want to acknowledge that at that last meeting, there was a lot of resident frustration about different topics related to the Robertson South development, related to the Gatherall and different things like that. And, I know that we sit up here and, quite frankly, I think last meeting it was about 90 minutes of council just listening, and that's how the meeting is set up to run. And I guess I don't want to, at least for myself, I don't want my sitting here and listening politely to be mistaken for like passivity or a lack of my own frustration about certain things and how they unfold. I think in some cases, the things that are brought forth to the city in terms of the request to address council are frankly probably not council matters. I think in some cases they're frankly probably not even like local government matters that go over what the city of Norwood has purview to do. And I think looking back over the past year and using this time as a reflection, there have definitely been things that have been frustrating to me about how different departments within the city work together, about how city council and other departments have interacted. And I guess I just want to say to anyone who might watch this meeting and think, oh, well, John's just sitting there, he's not lashing out at people or condemning them publicly or anything like that he's he's okay with status quo. And certainly, and I'll speak for myself, but I think everyone in the room would probably agree, like there are lots of things that Norwood could do better. I don't think anyone thinks Norwood is a perfect operation. I think that's all why we're all involved in this, is to help make Norwood a better place. And I think the ways that we choose to pursue that are, take different forms. But I think the overall arrow in Norwood is pointing up. And I think that it is just these moments of reflection and hard truths and resident feedback that just serve as a reminder that the need for us to continue to get better, provide a better resident experience, be more transparent, collaborate better across the city and the different functions. I think that work never ends. And I guess I would just, say that that's, what I'm here to continue to do, that I share in some of the frustrations that residents have expressed over the past year. And, I hope we can all keep working together to move Norwood forward.
Thank you. Any other new business? All right, then we move on to communications. The first is a letter from Mayor Victor Snyder regarding January Mayor's Court fines. Mrs. Franzen.
I move that we receive and file the letters if read.
Motion by Mrs. Franzen to receive and file the letter as if read. Ms. Sullivan.
I second.
Seconded by Ms. Sullivan. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Probbins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Girton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. The next item is a letter from the Norwood Planning Commission regarding their amended request for street naming and numbering policy. Mr. Girton.
Please help me get this correct, but I would like to make a motion to receive their letter and refer it to the Housing Committee.
Receive and file as if read and refer to.
That sounds much better than what I just said.
All right. Motion on the floor by Mr. Girton is to receive and file the letter as if read and refer the matter to the Housing Committee. Is there a second? Mrs. Hoover.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Hoover. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Probbins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Girton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes. The motion carries. Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. President. Might I make a motion to enter executive session for the purposes of discussing pending or imminent litigation?
Yes. Is there a second to that? Mrs. Bowling.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Bowling. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Probbins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Girton?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. Council, at this time, we will go ahead and enter executive session. Those who are not elected officials or part of city administration, we ask that you please leave council chambers. Once this is complete, the only thing left to do is adjourn. So at this moment, council will go ahead and enter executive session. Thank you. Has returned from executive session. We have no absent members this evening. Mr. Gurdon.
Make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Motion by Mr. Gurdon to adjourn. Mrs. Franzen.
I second.
Seconded by Mrs. Franzen. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Franzen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Provins?
Yes.
Mrs. Bowling?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Gurdon?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
All members present voting yes, the motion carries. This meeting is hereby adjourned.
Just one time I'd like to see when we come out.